Welcome to the Cotton Club Radio. I'm your host, Cotton Club. In today's conversation, family, it's going to be a well-needed conversation. Today's conversation is going to be called Black and Brown Coalition, the one-sided affair. You heard what I said, family. The Black and Brown Coalition, the one-sided affair. Listen, I'm not even going to waste no time. I'm going to go straight into this because we thought that this conversation of a Black and Brown coalition, I'm going to keep it funky with you, family. I thought it was over. We knew that the Democrats was pushing the Black and Brown coalition for years, trying to move in and usher in a new voting bloc. So they wanted us to keep our guards down and they wanted us to not know what was really going on. They knew that we were an embracive people and we accepted everybody. So they used that against us. And they put us in a category with other minority groups. And they use this reference, Black and Brown. It's almost, it's weird because if you really think about it, it don't even really make sense. Because who's the brown in this coalition? Because the Hispanics consider themselves white. Who's the brown? I never understood it. It always didn't really make that much sense to me. We knew who the black was, but who was the brown? So the Hispanics assumed the brown position. And what made it twisted from the beginning, because in order for you to say black and brown, you would have to equate our struggles. Family, we don't have any equal struggle with Hispanics or Latinos. Can we keep it funky, family? We have fought for equal equality for everybody. Latinos have fought for the right to be white. That ain't the same. We've never had any similarities. They listen to merengue. We listen to soul music. They dance bachata. We dance soul rhythm and blues and all hip hop, all of the above. They talk Spanish. We talk English. I don't even understand where the similarities came from. Many of them come from third world countries. We built the first world country. What are the similarities? So when we talk about the Black and Brown coalition, family, we have to break this down a little deeper because we have to look at this word coalition. A coalition would mean that people would have to have a same goal, and they would have to be on the same page. What goal does the Latino community have that aligns with the Black community? Can we talk about it? Seriously, family, let's talk about it. Because we know that the Latinos in California, when we heard those tapes, and you heard those tapes, where they were calling us monkeys and N-words and all kinds of stuff, and they were talking about formulating a plan of extracting resources out of the Black community and replacing it and redistributing those resources into the Latino community. Does that sound like a coalition to you? Or we can talk about LULAC, a Latino organization during the 1960s, where they were fighting the right to amalgamate Latinos into whiteness. And when asked on the record about the Negro struggle, what did they say, family? The Negro struggle is not our struggle. Those Negroes can go handle their business. Right now, we're trying to be white, and that's the only thing on our mind. I ask you again, family, where is the coalition? I'll tell you where it's at, family. The coalition is only when they want something that Black people have. Can we take it a little deep further? When they want to claim hip hop, there's your coalition. When they want some food stamps and benefits, there's your coalition. When they want some kind of revenue that was specifically organized for Black folk, then they want some kind of coalition. I even take it back to the Young Lords, which was an organization that was started in the 1960s by some Puerto Ricans and some other Latinos. What were they doing, family? Could we keep it funky? The only thing that they were doing was mirroring what we were doing with the Black Panthers. They were carbon copying us. This seems to be the plight of the Latino and Hispanic. I'm going to keep it real with you. What it seems like they do for the most part is take a page from what Black Americans are doing and try to copy it and rebrand it as their own. So the young lords become the new Black Panthers. You see? And the black and the Latino struggle becomes the new Black struggle. So when you create a Black and brown coalition, what that really begins, what it really is, family, is brown, the Latinos, taking Black resources that are meant for Black people. So at the end of the day, family, when we start to peel back the layers of what is spoon fed to us by the DNC, when it comes to the Black and brown coalition, what stands out the most about this Black and brown coalition, family? It's one-sided. Let's think about that for a second and ask yourself a question. Let's look at other things that's also one-sided. We know that the Black and brown coalition is one-sided. Latinos care about Latino struggles. There is nothing that Latinos do that include Black Americans. Family, there's nothing they do. There's no organization that is Latino that Black Americans can join. It seems to me that Latinos only care about Latinos. But why is it when there's organizations that are specifically supposed to be made for Black Americans, they include Latinos and they're all inclusive? So when you start to peel back the layers of this onion of this so-called Black and brown coalition, family, what stands out to me the most is that it's one-sided. Latinos work very little and Black Americans work very hard. Latinos give nothing and Black Americans give everything. Latinos get all the benefits of being Afro-Latino when they want to. And then other times they'll just say they're Puerto Rican or Dominican or El Salvadorian or wherever they're from. But when they want some Negro benefits, they'll put the Afro in front of it. Oh, I'm Afro-Colombian. I'm Afro-Latino now. Now everybody's an Afro-Latino. When there's some resources that's supposed to go to some Negroes, everybody's an Afro-Latino now. So when we think about what's one-sided, we know that Black and brown coalition is one-sided. But what else is one-sided? Because it seems like every time we are supposed to get something, we got to split the shit down the middle. We got to take one portion and somebody else and another group got to take the other portion. Why is that, family? Let's think about what else is one-sided where somebody else is benefiting the most and we benefit the less, but we're supposed to be the ones carrying and branding the shit, the thing. Watch my language. Pan-Africanism, one-sided, where Black Americans have to share all the benefits of being Black. We got the shit and all the stuff we create. Let's keep it funky. There are no group of Black people more innovative than Black Americans. There are no group of Black people more influential than Black Americans. But we got to share all of our inventions. We got to share all of our creations, and we got to share our influence. Every people can come here, sign on a document that they're African American or Black American or whatever they want to be, and then all of a sudden they get all the benefits and privileges of being you and me, family. Where can we go? Where can you go to do that? I can't go to Jamaica and fill out some documents and be treated as a Jamaican citizen. They'll be calling me the Yankee. I'll take it even a step further. I can go to Jamaica, have children in Jamaica, first generation Jamaicans. And those Jamaicans in Jamaica still call my children Yankee. They won't even get the benefit of be calling Jamaican. But if we look on the opposite side of the spectrum, people can come here, Nigerian, Jamaican, wherever they is, come here, sign some paperwork, and within a few hours, they're African American. They're Black American, like you and me. That's crazy. To me, that's a modern day paper genocide, where you can just come, skip a border, come here, sign a document, and assume a specific ethnic group's identity. That's paper genocide. But they've been doing this to us For how long, family? They've been doing paper genocide to us for over 400 years. And I'm noticing the pattern. They do it every 100 years, where they go in and try to erase any ethnic continuity that we have, and they try to rename us or rebrand us to try to uh, create confusion and other sorts. I think about the period in time where we went from being American Indian to being colored, and how that whole class of reclassification kind of left us AWOL and confused, and we had to rebrand ourselves into Negro. You understand? And then rebrand, and then when that started to get confusing, because you had started having foreigners come here like Marcus Garvey and other foreigners who were amalgamating themselves into the American Negro stratosphere, and they started to be claiming themselves as American Negroes. We needed a new brand, so we came up with Black. But that was too strong for YT. They didn't like that one because Negroes started getting militant under Black and started talking about Black power. That scared the establishment. They didn't like that one. So what did the Democrats do? They said, no, this Black thing, I don't know. These Negroes, they're getting real radical with this Black thing. They got, they wearing all black. They scaring the hell out of Whitey. They doing too much. They talking about revolutionary suicide and all of this other stuff. They getting intellectual. They're going into our schools, getting educated, and then using that education to fight against the system. That's too much. We need to do something about this Black thing. This Black power stuff. What did they do, family? They went and created the African American. That's what they did. Under the guise that we didn't have an identity. We needed an identity similar to other immigrants. This is what Jesse Jackson said. He said, I pushed African American because I wanted to make the Black American or the American Negro more equivalent to other immigrants as far as nationality, where Jamaicans can be Jamaican American, Nigerians can be Nigerian American, Colombians can be Colombian American, Dominicans can be Dominican American, Italians can be Italian American. Well, the Negro in the Black American doesn't have an identity. This is what Jesse Jackson said. So we need to make him an African American so he can be equivalent to an immigrant. So we know what the agenda was from the beginning. It was about erasing our identity. Why am I saying this, family? Because that's what the Black and Brown Coalition is. I need y'all to feel me. See, we connect dots here. And we do critical thinking. Because the Black and Brown Coalition, all it is to fuse other minorities, ultimately to erase you. It starts off as a fake under the guise of coalition. But look at the resources. The resources aren't going to the Black community. They're going to the Latino community. And we know this because we heard the Latino strategizing themselves, saying we're going to take these resources that they're giving the Black community and we're going to redistribute them to us. So now we know that the essence of this one-sided coalition, Black and Brown, is ultimately to extract resources out of your struggle and my struggle to the Latino community. So what did we do, family? We know what it is. We ain't stupid. We know that we've been on the chopping block for a long time now. Shit, we've been on the chopping block since the 18th century, when Abraham Lincoln was trying to strategize a method of getting the American Negro to South America. And the only thing that stopped him was the goddamn Civil War. So they've been trying to get rid of us. This ain't nothing new, family. This ain't nothing new. They always knew that they were going to have to pay reparations one way or another. So to get in front of it, they even contemplated getting rid of us, just sending us to another country. That's what that whole Marcus Garvey stuff was about, family. That whole pushing that Pan-Africanism and getting Negroes to look at Africa so he can extract Negroes here and send them to Africa. That's what that was all about. That's why a lot of people say Marcus Garvey was in cahoots with the American government with trying to get Negroes and take them to Africa, get them out of here, so they ain't got to pass no damn reparations. So we got to be clear that they've always wanted to get us out of the way. They've always wanted to get us somewhere else so they don't have to deal with us. But we've always been ahead of the game. They even try to send us to Liberia. And most of us was like, we ain't having that shit. We not going to no Liberia. Liberia, what the hell is out there? Ain't nothing out there for us. But you had a small amount of Negroes, I think about 4,000, they went out there. And what happened, family? They started being deleted by various different African tribes. They started having issues with resources and lack of support. They weren't getting the necessary support that they needed to establish real government. So they were lacking resources. They were lacking any real military power to really ground themselves in a foreign country. So that colony failed. You see? So they've always wanted to get us out of here. So I think, so when we look at this black and brown coalition and why it's a one-sided affair, we know it's a one-sided affair because we don't get the benefits of this coalition, of this so-called coalition. Name me one benefit, family, one benefit that black Americans get from a black and brown coalition. Give me one. I'm all ears. There is no benefit. And if you call dating Latino women a benefit, then you are one confused, backwards Negro. Because dating ain't no benefit. That's a relationship between one person and another. That is not a community to another community. Don't get me messed up. You can like an individual. I like a lot of Latino people. I got Latino friends, real cool with a lot of Latino people, but they're individuals. But when I look at the Latino community and the black community, we don't see eye to eye. There's a lot of anti-black racism coming from the Latino community. And if any Latino in here knows the truth, can tell the truth about it. Because I've had situations where I've dealt with Latino people. And let me tell you, family, the anti-black racism is deeper than any one of you can understand. Only black Americans understand. You tell this to other Latinos, they don't get it. They're like, well, I mean, it's not really that bad. I mean, you know, we love black people. Cool. But let me ask you a question. When I used to go to my little Latino friend's house back in the day, why I never could go in his house? I had to stand outside. But every time he came to my house, he can come in. My folks let him right in. He was like, they treated him like family. But when I went to his house, he'd be like, hold on, man, I'll be right back. Just stay right here. I'll be right back. But I never could go in their house. Always thought that was strange. You understand? Or I'll give you a personal story. I remember one time I was dealing with a Latino female, and she messed up and told me the whole truth about what they be talking about black folks when we not around. You know what she told me? She told me, number one, she told me I was the first black boy that she ever dealt with. And she said the reason why she never dealt with black boys before is because her family told her that black boys stink. Her family told her that black boys beat women. Her family told her that black boys cheat on women and make women baby mothers. This is what her Latino family members told her. Why would they say something like that? That could be anybody. But they specifically told her, if you're going to deal with a black man, this is what you are to expect. All of the worst. He going to cheat you, beat you, do all the worst things that you can imagine. You're scaring the hell out of these young Latino girls trying not to get them to date black men. This is the level of anti-black racism going on in the minds. We don't have those conversations in our house about people. Black Americans don't talk about people in that way. We just don't do that. We don't put filth and dirt and mud on people's names because we understand about allowing people space to prove themselves. If you cool, you're going to be cool. I'm not going to put you in a box. I'm going to let you expose yourself. One thing about black Americans that is admirable is we always give people, what is one of the sayings that we used to have growing up? You give somebody enough rope, they hang themselves. We always give people enough rope, man. We not, you know what I mean? But if you expose yourself, you're cut from the wayside. We're not dealing with you no more. So when we talk about our relationship with the Latino community, it's always been like that. It's always been, we give them opportunities, but they continuously show us they don't want a coalition with us. So we told the Democrats, you and me, we told the Democrats, we said, you know what? I think this black and brown thing that you guys keep talking about, I think we can just leave that alone. And let's just talk about the black stuff. So we're going to leave the Latino stuff alone and we're going to talk about black stuff for now. We're going to talk about what black folks need. We're going to make this about us because it seems like everybody is making things about them. So what do we do, family? On Cotton Club Radio, we talked about it. We broke it all down. We know that this black and brown coalition is fake. We know that the black and brown coalition is a strategy by the DNC to lower the black community's guards so they can go in and amalgamate us with other ethnic groups and amalgamate us with other minorities, ultimately so they could blind us out and put other minorities on top of us, like some big caste system or something like that. So we know it's fake. So what do we do? Because we got to talk about solutions, family. I don't like just getting up here and just breaking this stuff down on a critical level without solutions. We got to talk about solutions. So how do we get around this fake ass black and brown coalition one-sided affair? How do we get around it? I'll tell you how. We already have. We delineated. That's step number one. Delineation. The Black American delineating was the smartest thing that we could have done. Because when we did that, we basically protected ourselves and shielded ourselves from being treated as an individual, as an invisible, unlabeled, unspecific class of people who are nameless and identityless. When we identified ourselves, we cut all of that. We're going to ignore these people. We cut that by the wayside. We said we're going to refuse to be ignored any longer. You're not going to ignore us. So that's what we did, family. We delineated. And what else did we do? We demanded that if we were going to vote, we were going to vote for some goddamn tangibles. And we weren't just going to be voting to be another minority and mixed up with another minority. No, we were going to vote and get something for our vote, and particularly reparations, because it's due. And what happened with that, family? A lot of foreigners started finding their ways to reparation rallies and reparation congregations, signing up into administration and becoming members of our reparation committees and voting against us. Let's look at New York, where a lot of our freedmen are out there putting in that goddamn work like they supposed to. Shout out to them, Sister Brooke and the Freedmen Project. Shout out to y'all. What y'all do doesn't go unnoticed. Much love to you. Because what they're doing is they're going to these reparation hearings and exposing that a lot of these hearings, a lot of the people who are on those committees are not even Black Americans. These are people from a foreign background trying to dictate our reparations, family. How to make that make sense. And while trying to dictate our reparations, what are they doing? They're basically trying to make our reparations not lineage-based, but race-based, basically trying to sabotage it. So what is this? So ultimately, family, what am I saying? What has this Black and brown coalition done for you and done for me? But put people in a position of power to go against our best interests. Let's look at that brother who was booed at that convention. The brother who went up there, where he was with Phil Scott and Vicky Dillard. And what did he say? He was using a lot of verbiage because a lot of times Democratic shills, what they'll do is they'll try to speak grassroots language and then snuff in their Democratic shill talking points up in there. And he tried it too. And he said something, something, something. It sound all right. And then he said, yeah, because, we need to come together or something like that. And what did Phil say? What that mean? And he slipped up and said, well, black and brown coalition. And the crowd booed the hell out of him. You know why they booed him, family? We're not having that no more. That time is over. Ain't no beef. I ain't got no problem with no Latinos. It can't be a coalition if it's one-sided. And we already know that many Latinos don't really rock with us on that level unless they can benefit some kind of way. It's very important that we have these conversations, family. It's very important because these people are sitting in offices in places that you and me don't have access to, deciding our fate, talking about us, telling us what moves they're going to make about us, telling us what they're going to give us and what they're not going to give us. And family, we can't have this anymore. We can't allow foreigners to decide our fate any longer. That era where people can come over here, go to college, and assume powerful positions where they dictate our fate is over. We can't allow that no more because we did the flat blackness. Oh, everybody's black. And what did that do? That got people using their blackness to infiltrate our reparations committees, get on reparations panels, and vote against our best interests. That's what flat blackness did for us. It ruined us. So here we are trying to put ourselves back together. And it's important that we have these conversations.
Look. Let your angel sing. I ain't twisted, this ain't the Henny talking for me. This is literally Malcolm Little talking through me. I ain't possessed, this is just when spirit meets the flesh. And a revolutionary is born, nothing less. It's hard for me to cope with stress, especially when I see the world much different from the rest. I can't sleep, nightmares, waking up, cold sweat, wondering if I ever made it, will they do me like the rest? It's for my black souls who really do upset the rest, so they wander through my dreams. Please tell me what this means.